Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Chaz.Christopher. I'm so glad you're here today. How are you doing? I am feeling good for the first time in a long time. And so that's why we're gonna have a coffee with Chaz post-election discussion. So sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and let's talk. Boy, what a week it has been. Today is Tuesday, exactly 1 week after the United States election, where we now have a president and vice president-elect, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We made herstory. Yes, I said herstory, not history, because we put a female in the vice president position, which I know for everybody else around the world, you're like, yeah, it's no big deal, we've done that. We have we have presidents who are female, chancellors, all of this. I know. It is quite sad that we have to say this, and it's making us this excited in the year 2020, but obviously for the United States, who is not that progressive, it is a huge step in the right position, and I hope that no matter what your political beliefs are, that you do see that as something encouraging for every little girl that's out there right now. I think we forget the toll of what that takes on somebody who's growing up as a little kid. You're always told what you want to be, but never seeing you represented at the highest office in the United States, all the way to president, never having a female president, never having a female vice president, having so few female senators and congresswomen and state legislators is kind of jarring. You know, that definitely plays on your mind, and just by having a female in that position breaks so many barriers that will change the course of American history. And I think that's something that we should celebrate no matter what. If you feel different, I understand. You know, we all have our beliefs, but for me personally, I am incredibly proud of us. I'm incredibly proud that so many millions and millions of Americans during this pandemic were willing to do whatever they had to do to ensure that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was elected. Personally, for somebody who is gay, who does have a pre-existing condition, it has been incredibly nerve-wracking of this mystery of what's gonna happen in the next 4 years to come. You know, I'm speaking just personally, but you can be right now a black person, a brown person, Muslim, Mexican, you know, input whatever minority you want in this situation, and I do say women as well, no matter what your political beliefs are. Your body was on the line during this election. That's nervous. It's so hard to watch your fate be argued by somebody running for president or the Supreme Court or Congress. When you know who you are and you know that there's no changing that, but the laws can change. You know, my right to be married can be taken away and was actively on the Republican platform to be taken away. My right to adopt children can be taken away. My right to work and live, and so much is on the line. And you know, I can understand that if none of that's on the line for you, this election's no big deal, whatever, you know, but for me it was a huge deal, and for millions and millions and millions of other people it was a huge deal. If you are a black or brown person in America right now, and you know the statistics of you getting killed for being unarmed, that's terrifying. That is incredibly anxiety inducing. And at that point in time, to try to put those anxieties at ease, you have to find out who you believe is going to be president and is going to help your cause the most. And then once you do that, you have to try to get the vote out for that person, encourage other people, and then you have to hope to goodness that that person gets it. And then you still have to hope to goodness that the other branches of government don't try to do their part to take it away. And if they do, this person is able to do whatever is in their power to keep you safe. That is so much. It's so much to have on your plate when just living life is hard. Just being alive is hard. As the Buddhists would say, life is suffering. Why do we need to add more suffering to it? These things shouldn't be there. We should be talking about what's at the core of America that's broken. Inequality, whether it be racial or women consistently having the lower hand in every situation, whether it be the workplace or just like I was talking about, going all the way up to president or vice president or in the Senate. There's not enough representation for them. There's not enough representation for Black people so that their voices are being heard, their concerns are being addressed. For so many times, the concerns that are being addressed are the concerns of large corporations in America. Many people think that we're saying, oh, we need to get rid of large corporations. No, we don't have to get rid of them. They make so much money. What they should be doing is putting that money into America. That money should not be going off seas. That money should not be going to all of these accountants to find every possible loophole they can so that they can pay, if not nothing, next to nothing in federal income taxes, which hurts us because now that puts the burden on the American people, or these unequal tax codes where the rate you get taxed at is so disproportionate to what it should be. It's crazy the amount of tax brackets you have in such little levels of like 20,000 to 60,000, let's say. But then from 400,000 to 4 million or 4 million to 400 million, the tax brackets don't keep going. They tap out at a certain point. And even then, these people are getting away with significantly less. We don't have time for me to explain all the tax brackets in here and how that works, but obviously the people who need the money the most are the people who are gonna spend the money, because we have a capitalist society. That means that for money to mean anything, for money to actually be worth it, anything, goods have to constantly be bought and sold, money pouring into it. And if we squeeze out the majority of Americans who fall in that middle class because we're taxing them too hard, we're not forcing big corporations to pay them enough, how do we expect that to be a healthy capitalist society if money is instead constantly going to the top? All the wealth in America is going to the top, and these are going into investments and into offshore accounts and things like that. It just doesn't make sense, right? And that's something that should be bipartisan. Maybe the solutions to that may not be bipartisan, but the desire to want to fix that inequality should unite everybody, no matter who the president is and no matter what your political beliefs are. This should be just an American belief, and I hope that somehow, of all peoples in America, do see that, and that is something we can come together bipartisan on. It's obviously, we don't have the upper hand. We aren't these big corporations who are pouring tons of that money into lobbyists and being the boots on the ground in Washington to ensure that what they want gets passed, or, you know, they're always at least whispering in the ears of politicians of what they want to have done and maybe what they'll do for them. You know, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. And the American people are the ones that need to be represented right now. We are the ones that are dying. We are the ones that aren't being able to pay rent. We are the ones that are losing houses. We are the ones that are hurting. Even Great Depression standards, we think of the population of America and we look at the population now of just how many millions and millions and millions of people are hurting like never before, and it makes you very pessimistic about the future of our country because we're so far down. You think, oh, we can only go up, but we've learned that's not true. We can just keep going down, down, down. And I do think that when I see the amount of people that showed up to vote, there is hope. There's hope. You know, all of those people saw this, all of those people did whatever they could to turn out. And while I don't believe that the wound that has been caused from all of the hatred, the racism, the bigotedness, is that the right word? I don't think that's gonna obviously heal anytime soon. We're not gonna see any true changes to that. But I do believe on a personal level, if we personally start reaching out to the other side and having these tough conversations with people who are willing to listen. Obviously, if they're not going to listen to you, they're just going to shut you up from the beginning. The conversation is never going to go anywhere, and we should accept that, which sometimes is hard, and move on to the next person and literally try to find common ground and explain our sides. You know, I know that people in this election, it's emotional on the level, like I started this, of if you are a minority, you've seen your rights be debated or decided through a court and you see people that you care about and they care about you voting for the team that's going against you, the team that's wanting to strip you of your rights, that's hurtful, and that's deep. That's a deep, deep, deep pain that I don't know if I could ever even really put it into words what that does. It definitely makes it personal, and I think it puts so many feelings and emotions in it, which aren't always logical, aren't obviously very eloquently put in your head. You know, it's more in the heart and that pain in the chest and that sorrow that it brings upon you to feel like you care about me, but not necessarily about my freedoms, about my rights, and willingly chose to vote against it to my face, you know, so that's tough. And I think that the only way we can get through that is by trying to have the conversations, even though they may hurt or not end well. Sadly, I think they have to happen. And I would think if people care about you, they would be open to that aspect of it. I know a lot of you who are watching this feel that, and we are definitely in this together. We have got some relief and we have got some hope, and now we have to go back to work and continue to ensure our rights are protected, to continue to ensure that every American is represented fairly and equally, and know that we are still up against the opposition of big corporations and so much pushing against us, and that just because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was elected does not mean everything's magically going to get better. It's going to take so much work and time, sacrifices, and ultimately all of us doing our part. That's not always easy. It's not always comfortable. It's not always the place we want to be, but I know that we can do it, and I know now that the majority is on our side. The majority feels the same way. The majority of America stand up for their morals, and the majority of Americans are still willing to fight for America. So I think that's something that we all should be grateful for, because at this point in time, with so many Americans being disfranchised, it's very easy to give up. It's very easy to just throw your hands up in the air, have a little bit of learned helplessness, just whatever, throw whatever you're gonna at me, I give up, I don't care. And that didn't happen. We made record-breaking history with the amount of voters that turned out, and that's pretty cool. People did it, and that's a huge, huge, huge step in the right direction. So I'm gonna end it on that note. I hope you are doing okay. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And most importantly, you do you, I'll do me, and let's make the world a better place.